Howard Eskin Show. As we are coming to you live on Saturday morning, but it lives forever on a podcast, unlike uh, radio or television uh, shows of this kind. This lives forever. Uh, but we have a special guest today. But first, I want to tell you that the Howard Eskin Show is presented by Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell is the man. Uh, you have any kind of wealth that you would like to invest? Jeff's the kind of guy that will understand you because you will understand him. That's what I learned from talking to Jeff and being with Jeff. He will get it done. Regular guy, which is important. You will be impressed. Trust me. Here's the number to get a hold of Stillwell Financial Advisors and Jeff Stillwell, 732 343 0813. 732-343-0813. All right. On the show today, uh, obviously, we'll have Irving Fryar coming up. There's a lot of things to the Irving Fryar story. His second and third chapters, a lot of things to the Irving Fryar story. We will discuss, and his years with the Eagles, which were really, really good years. We will also, and we will, I want to try to involve you. I saw some photographs, and it brought back memories for me, and it's for me, and you may not get this. The greatest, I don't know, this kind of came up before, the greatest Eagles of all time, uh, 1 through 5. You could probably go to 7 or 8 and really get some really, really, really good players. So we'll discuss that, and we'll ask you, if you so choose, to participate. I've got a story about a very prominent former player who's now prominent in the role he's in, who put his house up for bankruptcy auction. This is when you just don't know how to spend your money properly. But we will talk about that as well. Also, I do want to remind you that we have a winner from our last show of the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And congratulations, Ryan Lohr. He won the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And the question was, and it was a pretty simple question, and all you have to do is participate, and we select somebody from the correct responses to my website, howardeskin.com, and go to the contact page. The question was Andrew Brandt in favor? Remember, he worked for the Packers for 10 years, and that was a team that introduced banning the tush push or making that against the rules. And like I said, I really don't care. I think too much has been made out of it. Was he in favor or not in favor? And Ryan Lohr got the correct answer that he was in favor of it, even though he worked for the Packers, and he wins the $50 gift certificate. We will have another Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And it doesn't matter where you are in the country. There's a lot of places in the country where there are Chickies and Pete's locations. And certainly in our area, in the Philadelphia area, there are, I think there's at least 70. I don't know the number, but it's crazy. So you can use it at any one of those locations. We will have a question after Irving Fryar's done to win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificates. And you will have to submit your answer uh, by Tuesday night. I would say Tuesday night at midnight before our next show on Wednesday. But we will have a question coming up at the not the end of towards the end after Irving Fryar's done, obviously, to come up with a question to award you the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. All right, before we get to uh, there it is, Chickies and Pete's. at the end of the show, I'm going to ask a question. Uh, Submit your answer to the howardeskin.com midnight on Tuesday, June 3rd. Watch the show on Wednesday, and either it's live on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and it's easy to find on usually all of them. We're also on Spotify and Apple and Amazon Music. But whatever the case, if you subscribe to YouTube, you will be notified when the show comes up. So I suggest that you subscribe to YouTube. And now, before we get to Irving Fryar, I want to actually talk about our wonderful sponsors. Uh, Jeff Stillwell is obviously terrific in being the show presenter, presenting the show. But Cut the Cord with Jason, Piazza Property Pros, and Audi of Westchester. And right now, I want to tell you about Piazza Property Pros. They just spent a few days at my home doing cleanup, landscaping cleanup. Now, obviously, if you want a pool, they can do that. If you want to renovate your pool, they can do that. Whether it's landscaping, excavation, fencing, pool maintenance, they can do that. With 25 years of experience, you got to trust these people because they don't subcontract, it's their people. And they did an absolutely sensational job with my landscaping cleanup. Sensational job. If you want any of the things that I just mentioned, check them out and they'll work within your budget. 610-566-2608. That's 610-566-2608. Check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. I mean, if you want to enjoy your grounds, your home, check out Piazza Pros, Piazza Property Pros. All right. I also want to tell you about Audi of Westchester. Fun place. Well, it's always fun. Isn't it always fun when you go look for a vehicle and you look for a car? Isn't it fun? Well, you want to make it and you want to keep it fun. And Audi Westchester will help you do that. Pressure-free sales environment. Have fun with those guys. You can enjoy some snacks, some coffee. And they have the largest selection of Audi vehicles in the area because they're part of the Mainline Automotive Group. So you have access to the largest selection of new and pre-owned Audi vehicles in the tri-state area. Also, $7,000 off any in-stock Q8s out at Audi Westchester. No tariffs, $7,000 off the in-stock Q8s. You want to check them out? Here's their location, 1421 Wilmington Pike. Check them out on the internet, AudiWestchester.com. That's AudiWestchester.com. My experience was great. Just got a new vehicle within the last couple of weeks, and your experience will be great as well. Now, you want to save money. I know you want to save money. I know you do. You can cut the cord of your cable and save money with Jason. Cut the cord with Jason. He offers, a lot of people have taken him up. I spoke to somebody yesterday. And he says, you know what? I got to do that. Well, you just don't talk about it. You call Jason. He'll cut your cable off, set you up with less expensive internet service with a streaming services that'll save you lots of money, which include all the local and national channels. You'll still get to see all the Philly Pro games. And if you have a second home, you can hook up the second home. No extra charge. Jason will set up that as well. One monthly TV bill for both houses. For more information and to save yourself lots and lots of money, getting rid of that cable, call Jason, 215-801-5858, 215-801-5858. And now I'd like to welcome, you don't realize how good a player this guy was unless you look at you watched him. I was lucky enough to watch him, and you see the numbers. There's some of the numbers are actually pretty staggering. And let me welcome now former Eagle, former of a few teams, but a former Eagle, and that's where I got to know Irving Fryar really well. And he's done a lot of things since. He's got a second chapter and a third chapter, and he's doing really well for himself. And that is Irving Fryar. Irving, I want to welcome you to the program. Thanks so much. Okay. I don't know whether to call you Dr. Fryar or Pastor Fryar or Irving Fryar, the NFL player who's accomplished a lot in his NFL career. Uh, you know what? Nowadays, well, people remember you for your days as a football player, but how should I address you?
Well, listen. First of all, Howard, thank you for asking me to be on the show. I am honored. We did work together when I was playing. Did a
Yes, I
radio
do.
show and
I
whatnot. Yes,
remember.
we did. So I'm very familiar with you, and you, my dude, man. I'm with you. Um, you're going to have to address me because when you were with WIP before you finished there, you were doing the whole doctor thing. I'm the Dr. King, all that kind of stuff. So because I have 2 doctoral degrees, I'm going to show you my doctoral degrees. They're right back there behind me. You see that, right?
Yep.
The doctoral degrees. I got 2 doctoral degrees. You're gonna have to address me as Dr. Fryar.
Okay, Dr. Fryar. All right, Dr. Fryar. Well, we're both you're a double doctor, and I'm a doctor. Hey, listen, I
I
didn't.
like that.
I'm going to just address the King thing because I think people that give themselves their own nickname are frauds. Like LeBron James, and I call him LaFraud James, is a fraud. He gave himself King
Okay.
James. Nobody named him King. Pete Rose started calling me King because they did a story about me on TV right before I went into TV,
Uh-huh.
and the reporter and the anchor called me the King of Sports Talkers. The,
Oh.
so the next day, I walked into the Phillies locker room, and his locker is straight. And I've told this story before. Straightforward as you walk through the door, there's his locker,
Uh-huh.
and the first thing he says to me, he says, "King, you're the king." And then everybody started calling me King from that day on. So I never gave myself the nickname of King, but now I'm King PhD.
Okay, but
So
you never shunned it either. You never,
no,
you never
no,
pushed back from it either.
but I never told people, "Well, I'm the king."
Right.
I never went through all that. Irving, I'm going to talk about the chapter after your football life, and it's kind of interesting. I know players after they score a touchdown and they pray on the field, they'll kneel
Mhm.
down and they'll pray. Number one, how did you become a pastor? And were you always a very religious guy? I guess is part of the question.
Well, let's I was always a very religious guy when you look at the definition of religion, and that's just being able to do something with repetition.
Hmm.
Doing something continually. So we can be religious as a football player. You can be religious going to the weight room. Yes, I was religious when I was younger because I was brought up in the church in terms of going to church
Hmm.
and being in that environment. But I didn't have a relationship with the Lord, and that's what happens when you hear people say you get saved. I didn't have my relationship with the Lord, individual relationship until I was like I think I was 27 years old. But prior to that, I was some would say rascal. I would, if I could think of a worse word, I would. But no, I wasn't always I didn't always have a relationship, I should say, with the Lord. Yes, I was religious. I understood certain things about it, but it wasn't until I was 27 years old and started to kind of calm down a little bit that I came into an understanding of who God is and who his son is and what he's done for me and done for the world, and received that into my life by faith and became a Christian, saved.
Okay, and then how did it develop into you becoming the pastor of? I don't know if it's the same church. I know you're from the area.
Hmm.
You from Mount Holly,
Hmm.
so you're back and you're living in the area. But how did you decide, or when did you decide to become a pastor? And I don't know if it's the same church all along, but when did you decide to become a pastor?
Hmm. Well, it there's a saying that some were called and some were chosen, um, or I should say, some were chosen and some went. I was chosen. Now, if the way that it's supposed to happen is not by my choice, it's an unctioning, it's a calling, it's a divine draw by God into that position to shepherd his people. And that's what happened in my life. God spoke to me, and he told me that you need to do this, which was start a church, and this is the name, and this is where you need to be, so on and so forth. So it wasn't my choice. It was not my choice. Listen, Howard, if I could have chosen, or my choice at that time, back in 2003 when we started the church, I believe God spoke about 2002. Back at that time, my choice, man, I was being prepped at ABC to be the weekend anchor. And my
Right.
choice, I'd be just about retiring again in another job, because I would have been in sports analyst or TV sports analyst. I would have been
Right.
in movies, all that kind of stuff. But I turned all that down when the Lord spoke and said to start the church. So I didn't choose myself. I didn't do that. And there have been times along the way where I tried to stop, didn't want to do it anymore. Thought I should maybe stop pastoring. I've been pastoring for 23 years now.
Wow.
And the Lord spoke again. He said, yeah, you can go ahead and stop if you want. And this is true. What he said to me, he said, you can stop if you want, but you're going to die. He didn't say he was going to kill me. He just said I was going to die.
Well, which is not a happy thought. All right. So now
Well, we're
you
all
have,
going to die at some point, Howard. You
I
do know that,
guess.
right? I know you're the king and all, but we all are going to make that transition at some point.
Don't bring that up here. We're trying to have fun.
Am I throwing you off?
No, it just, people, when you start thinking about that, it's not a happy thought. You just try to stay, as as an athlete, you always want to stay healthy.
Right.
And then, just while you're living, you want to be healthy. And, those are the kind of things that make you feel good. So,
But you
you know, I,
also want to do well while.
yes.
So if you think about, or if it's a thought you ever comes up, and that's what funerals are for, to remind us that we're going to be that person at some point. So that should be something that encourages us to live better, to do better, not just to live a healthy life, like you're saying, that's included in there, but to treat other people right, to try to do the right things.
All right, Dr. Fryer, you've been a doctor longer than I have. I got my doctorate in media communications last year at Goldie
Nice.
Beacom College in Wilmington. And
Congratulations.
I really, thank you. And I really, I think so much of that school now, and I've heard from a lot of people that actually went there. People have gotten in touch. They should get in touch with the school because they're trying to get all their alumni together. But whatever, media communications, and uh, it was an honor to be given a doctorate,
Mm-hmm.
and it's back behind me over this shoulder. There's
Okay, I see it back
yeah,
there. Yeah.
you see the cap that I wore then. So uh, it was quite an honor for you. What are you're a doctor? You got a doctorate for what at two different times?
Mm-hmm.
What was your doctorate in?
My first one was a doctorate in theology. Okay, that's God, the study of God. And my
Mhm.
second was my first one was a THD. My second one is a PhD, because I did a study on the philosophy of theology. So my first doctorate is a THD. My second doctorate is a PhD.
And it's congratulations to you, Dr. Fryer.
Pretty
It's
impressive, huh, for an old guy?
and I'm going to correct you. You're never old. You're just older. When people
Okay,
say, "Oh, you're old," no,
okay,
no,
I
no.
got
I'm
you.
just older. I
That's
mean,
good.
it's just, yeah. It just don't ever consider yourself old. I mean, we
Oh,
just
I don't consider myself old, not at
no.
all.
Well, and I don't either. And I'm just a little older than you are, but that's all right. As long as we're having fun. If you're not having fun, you're not trying hard enough. Just remember that. All right. So
There
now
you
let's
go.
talk about you're having fun. And it's amazing to think that a wide receiver was selected number one in the draft. You came out of Nebraska
Mm-hmm.
and you were the number one pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Were you that? Obviously, you were. How were you that good and you never think of Nebraska as a passing school.
Right.
But now everybody passes in college football.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at that time, and you were drafted in '84.
Uh-huh.
How did you become the number one wide receiver at a school that is not known for throwing the football?
And well, you actually said it, but in that it was amazing, even amazing to me. So Nebraska still struggles in the win-loss column. Why? Because they still haven't got to the point where they can pass the ball like everybody else and keep up. They're still struggling in that department. Well, back in the 80s, we didn't pass the ball at all. Mike Rozier was a Heisman Trophy winner my senior year. I did a lot of blocking. And the amazing part about it, when I think about it, when you think about it, is that when I was drafted as a wide receiver. I was the first wide receiver ever taken first in the history of the NFL in terms of the draft. But I wasn't a wide receiver. I was a wingback. You watch my films. I didn't run patterns and things like that. I wasn't savvy at that kind of stuff. Not like those kids are now coming out of college, coming into the pros, man. They're already running routes like Fred Biletnikoff. But I couldn't run routes like that. My one-on-ones every day in practice was me in a three-point stance blocking a defensive end standing over me or cracking down on a linebacker. I had never run a route one-on-one with a defensive back. Never did that. I could block. Yes, I could catch. I had my fair share of drops in college, but I could catch the ball. I wasn't, I didn't drop the ball. I caught the ball 95% of the time. I had a few drops. Everybody has a few drops. The only man who's never dropped the ball is one who's never had one thrown to him. But I was a wingback. I blocked I was a decoy for Mike Rozier. And every now and then Turner would throw me the ball. I averaged touching the ball 4 times a game. I averaged touching the ball over the season 4 times a game. Just touching it, not catch. Some were reverses, some were catches, but I averaged touching the ball 4 times a game.
All right. Now, when I think about it, I didn't realize that. I think about that. How the hell? And now they have all these draft analysts. Half of them are idiots, and they just throw stuff out there to put it on social media. They have no clue what they're talking about. They just think they do. But I don't remember a lot of. There were draft analysts, but not like there is today.
Right.
How did they analyze, or how were you analyzed? And not recruited, but scouted as a wide receiver if you didn't even play wide receiver and be selected number one. How did that happen?
Howard, I don't know. And I'm gonna give you something else with this too. So yes, I could catch the ball. I made difficult catches. I made catches and runs. I was a punt returner as well. My first 8 years with New England, I started at wide receiver and I was the starting punt returner. I returned punts for 8 years in New England as the starting wide receiver. They don't let cats do that now in the NFL. You got to be a punt returner specialist, and then if you're a wide receiver, you can't do nothing else. In my first 8 years, all except for 1 year there, I was the punt returner and a starting wide receiver. But when I don't know how they analyzed me. Between my junior year and senior year, the pros came. I guess they would call it the pro day. They came to the school. And all they did was time us in the 40. I ran a 4.2, and this was hand time back then. I ran a 4.23.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. I ran twice. I ran a 4.27, and then they was like, "No, you got to run again. There's something wrong with that." Then I ran a 4.23. So that was it. When the combines came, there were 2 combines back then. There was one in Indianapolis. There was one in New Orleans. They flew me down to the one in New Orleans. They said, you don't have to do anything. Just take your physical, sit down and watch everybody else. And that's what I did. I took my physical. I didn't go to the one in Indianapolis, took my physical and sat down and watched everybody else and flew back home.
Did you have an idea that you would be drafted that high?
No. Howard, the reality of the situation is, yes, I was doing all that, but I really didn't want to play football.
But that's amazing.
I wanted to be a Marine, man. I wanted to go to the Marines. That's what I wanted to do back then.
I mean, to be drafted number one as a wide receiver, and that wasn't you weren't even a wide receiver that caught that many balls
Right.
at
Right.
Nebraska.
I think I caught
That
42 my last year. I caught 42 balls that season.
Okay, so now your years in the NFL, and we'll get to the years with the Eagles.
Mhm.
17 years is a long time for any player, let alone a wide receiver. Uh, and it's amazing. Only Jerry Rice has more consecutive years with a touchdown catch in a season. You had 17, and
Mhm.
Jerry Rice had 20. I don't think anybody will get to number two past you because I don't think there's any wide receiver that's going to last 17 years in the league now. The way they turn over players, and the way
Right.
guys, the way the money
Yeah.
is. What
They
was
make
the
too much.
highest? They make too much money. You're absolutely they. I mean, to think a wide receiver's over $30 million, it's
Well, I
insane.
was born too soon. I'm happy for them. I was born too soon. My gosh, what kind of money I'd be getting right now if I was the first pick in the draft? What?
What was the most money you made in any one season as a pro football player?
My 10th year with I'm sorry, not with New England, with Miami. My first year with Miami was a 3-year deal. My first year I made $1 million.
Uh,
I made
the
$1
number
million.
one. Wait a minute. The number one pick in the draft, and you made $1 million a year. That's all
That
you
was
made.
that was my 10th year. No, I didn't make $1 million starting out.
Wow. I mean, you think about the guys now that today it's sick.
Yeah,
The money.
I think my first contract in total, it was a 4-year. Was it 4-year or 5-year? I think it was a 4-year. It was under $1 million a year. I think it was a 5-year deal for like 4.5 million. But taxes were so high back then, it was crazy.
All right, so you come to the Eagles. You come to the Eagles. You're 34 years old. I believe you were 34 when you came to the Eagles. And your first two seasons, you caught over 80 balls a season, over
Yeah.
80 receptions in your first 2 years with the Eagles. That's actually kind of phenomenal. Were the Eagles? I mean, you played with. All right, name the quarterbacks that you played with the Eagles.
Right here with the Eagles, it was my most of the time it was Coy Detmer. No, I'm sorry, Ty Detmer and Rodney Peete. Most of the time of those 3 years that I was there. But I also caught balls from Coy Detmer, which was amazing. The two brothers were quarterbacks on the same team, and also Bobby Hoeing. Bobby Hoeing was also one of the quarterbacks, and most of the my third year here in Philly, was Bobby Hoeing.
You know, I have a play, and we're going to run it. Rodney Peete was the quarterback, and the guys on TV, it was Pat Summerall and John Madden. Let's play this clip, this one-handed catch by Irving Fryar. Let's roll this out here.
He retreats down Clinton. Fryar makes a one-handed grab behind him.
How in the heck did he do that? Irving Fryar had already passed that point. Rodney Peete throws the ball behind him. Fryar just reaches back with his left hand and catches the ball one-handed. This is something.
It's amazing.
That's it. He's going to run it in there. The ball is behind him. He just reaches back and grabs out there stagnant with his one hand.
And scooped it in.
You know what, Irving? It's amazing. You caught it, and those guys, Pat John Madden, went nuts. He just caught the ball one-handed.
You know what I was trying to do?
You remember that play? That was Rodney.
Oh, I remember that play because the corner over me blitzed. So the corner, 5-6 yards down, the safety comes down and picks me up. So I hurried, because it's a blitz. I hurried up and got inside the safety coming down, but the ball was behind me, and I thought the safety was close to me. So my initial thought was, and my initial attempt at it was to just knock it down, so it didn't get intercepted. But when I touched it, it stuck, so I pulled it in.
That was a great catch. You know what? When Odell Beckham Jr. got all this attention for catching the ball one-handed, I remember you caught the ball one-handed.
Right.
Chris Carter was good at catching the ball one-handed.
Right.
It's like a big deal. Odell Beckham Jr. because it was on Monday Night Football. They made a big and Odell Beckham Jr. catches the ball. There were guys that caught the ball one-handed long before
Right.
Odell Beckham Jr. did it. I mean, what a joke! I mean, it's amazing what guys make when they make such a big deal out of a guy because it was on national TV. And if that had to be a big game, if Summerall and Madden did the game.
Right.
And it was against Dallas. That had to be a big game.
Right.
I mean, it's just so. What do you remember in your years with the Eagles? Obviously, the first 2 years were really good. What do you remember in your 3 years with the Eagles?
Well, I guess what I remember the most is being able to be home. Do you hear that ringing? Something's humming. You don't hear that humming?
It's just they're singing for you.
Okay, hold on a second. So what I remember most coming to Philly, Ray Rhodes, the year before I got to Philly, he was the coach of the year.
Right.
I never had an opportunity to play for a black head coach. So that was a new experience for me. And I had been in the league for some time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then John Gruden, really, obviously the players, some friends I still talk to, teammates, we're still in contact. But from a football perspective, just the mind of John Gruden and how he was able to design offensive schemes to really take advantage of just two people. Really, we had two threats on the team when I was here, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but Chris T. Jones, who was supposed to be when I got there that next guy as well, but he got injured, so he wasn't around on the other side of me. So I really didn't have a whole lot of help on the other side. But Ricky Waters was here.
Right.
And so Gruden was able to design a whole offensive scheme around two players. And he did a phenomenal job with moving us around, positioning us, setting things up formationally, personnel-wise, to make sure we got the ball so that we could advance the ball offensively and help our team win games. I know what the humming is. It's the guys outside doing the grass with the weed whacker. I'm hearing this. I'm like, what is that?
Hey, wait a minute! I just had my landscaping done by one of my sponsors, Piazza Property Pros. Did a great job, but so I know what the noise is like when they're out there doing things. But it's all right. It's all right. It's a little ambience for the whole thing.
Well, my mic should shun it out anyway. I have a nice mic. It'll be all right.
All right. So
we're the king, man. We're the king. You're the king. I'm the doctor. King and the doc.
We're both doctors, but you're a double doctor.
Yeah.
I'm only a king and a doctor.
Howard, we should do another show together, man. We should do another show. The king and the double doc.
Hey, you know what? I want to get to it. The fact that we did a radio show together, we did a weekly show together, which was really kind of cool. And you are in good company with Hall of Famers that I've done radio shows with, but we'll get to that. All right. So was John Gruden your first offensive coordinator when you came to the Eagles?
Yes, John Gruden was my first offensive coordinator when I came to the Eagles, and John Gruden was my first offensive coordinator that was younger than me.
Wow. Would you say of all you played 17 years with 4 different teams, who was the best offensive coordinator, not the best head coach, the best, because the offensive coordinator does a lot for the coach.
Right.
Who was the best offensive coordinator that you played for in your 17 years?
By far, no competition, no hesitancy. I don't even have to think about it. John Gruden.
Wow. And that led to a head coaching job for John Gruden.
His football IQ, his mind, the way he thinks, the way he sets things. I mean, not just X's and O's, but his psychological way of coaching guys, getting in their heads and challenging them. He would do that to me. I never had a coach say to me before, listen, Irving, if it's third down and I call this play, it's because I'm throwing the ball to you. I want you to get the ball. I've never had a coach tell me that before. It's always a team thing. Wherever the ball goes, that's where it goes. But when he calls, John would tell me, when I call these plays, this, and this, I'm trying to get you the ball. I expect you to get open and catch the ball. I don't care what the defense is. You work it, get open, and catch the ball because I'm trying to get the ball to you.
And Ricky Waters was there, and Ricky Waters needed the football.
Do
How
you
did
think? Do you think?
well,
Listen,
I'm
that
going to
cat
tell you.
never shut up. Ricky,
I,
I'm like, Ricky, would you stop
wait a
talking?
minute.
Talking to the defense.
I have told this story before, and I was witness to this. One game, and I don't know which game it was. Ricky Waters, as far as he wasn't happy in the locker room after the game, and his girlfriend was livid. She aired out John Gruden. Come out of when you come out of the locker room with the vet, there's that hallway there before they go to their offices. She waited for John Gruden. She aired him out, and he just stood there and took it all. She just was relentless on him about him not getting the football. So that probably means you probably had a lot of receptions in that game,
sir.
and it was your fault that she aired out John Gruden. So I'm going to blame you.
I love Ricky Waters. I really do. That's my guy. That's my dude. But Ricky, you're right. He had to get the ball. He was like Mike Rozier. Mike Rozier is my best friend to this day. And he had to get – Mike got the ball. He touched the ball 31 times, averaging 31 times a game. I got a story for you about Ricky, though. We're in – both Ricky and I made the Pro Bowl back when they played the Pro Bowl with pads on and not flags and shorts. So we're in Hawaii, and he and I were starters. So we were in the first couple of series. Now we're out, and the second team guys are in, not second team, but the other guys in the Pro Bowl are in. They're playing, and we're on the sidelines. The offense is going, and Ricky's pacing back and forth, and he's cussing, he's fussing. I'm like, what? I stopped him. I was like, Ricky, what's wrong? What happened? He said, they're not blocking. They didn't block for me like they blocked for Barry. Barry's out there getting all these yards, and they didn't block for me like they blocked for Barry. I'm like, wait a minute, Ricky. First of all, we're in Hawaii. We're the Pro Bowl. Can you relax? Relax. And then secondly, Barry don't need no blocking. Barry's getting all those yards by himself.
And when he was with San Francisco with Bill Walsh, there's no way he would carry the ball that much. And I don't think who was the other running back that they had that carried the ball? Roger Craig.
Roger Craig. Yeah, I played with Roger in college. Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing. But he had to have the football. All right. One game with the Eagles. And I'm going to play another clip. And I don't know if it's from that game. You had four. Well, the clip is not a touchdown catch. You had 4 touchdown catches in one game. I don't know if any other receiver has done that, has had 4 TD catches in one game.
At least I don't know if not at my age. I think I was 34, 35 at the time.
Yeah, it was with the Eagles. It was in '96. But I want to play another clip. You love the one-handed catch. Let's play another clip from Irving Fryar.
First thing you have to do is protect up front. Strahan runs a stunt. Look who blocks him. Ricky Waters shoved his face in. And that allowed Denver to stand inside. But I want you to watch this. I mean, this is nothing you can practice. You just either have it or you don't. And guess what? He had
You have it or you don't.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
There's a little story behind that catch too.
Okay.
So all week long, that's just an all-out go where everybody's running fly patterns and Ty's supposed to pick one and throw it. All week long in practice, he had been throwing that ball to me. For some reason, Howard, I don't know why, I just started jumping up. I guess I must have been feeling myself, jumping up and trying to catch the ball like that in practice. But Ray was like, stop doing that, Irvin. John Gruden, stop doing that. I must have dropped it 4 times in practice. That same catch. All right. Wow. I was doing it on purpose, just messing around, trying to see if I could cut the ball. And then we get in the game. I didn't do that on purpose because I had done it in practice. I instinctively jumped like that and caught it.
Well, it's just, and Odell Beckham Jr. got all this attention. Or what do you remember? We did a radio show together, and I told you I was going to tell you the Hall of Famers that I've worked with. I've done a radio show with Chuck Bednarik, who was the only player that I think played 60 minutes in a football game.
Wow.
And that's my first pro football game ever as a little young kid. Was the 60 championship game when the Eagles beat Vince Lombardi. His only loss in the playoffs was the 60 championship game, the Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. So I did a show with Chuck Bednarik and with Tommy McDonald, and I've done shows with other guys, but those two guys were great. And I've done a radio show with you. What do you remember about that fine radio show that we did together at once a week?
Honestly, Howard, we had a great time. You were great, and doing the show. I think, did we just do it 1 year or 2 years?
I'm not sure whether it was 1 or 2.
Didn't we do something at Top Dog as well?
Yeah, we did a couple of them
the year before.
Yeah,
but our last year we were somewhere up the turnpike in Pennsylvania at a bar restaurant.
Yep, I remember that one.
Here's the one thing, and this has nothing to do with you. But here's the one. No, it doesn't. When I say it to you, you may remember it. But you're asking me. There's one thing that sticks out the most that just pokes me all the time. So that was my 3rd year with the Eagles. We were not doing well. I had a broken toe. I didn't tell anybody. I broke my big toe the 2nd game of the season. I was getting shots in my toe almost every day because I had to try to practice. They kind of misdiagnosed me. And said that I had turf toe, but I had a broken toe. I had to get it fixed at the end of the season. And I didn't know it was broken until I went to do Any Given Sunday, and I couldn't run in the movie. So I had a doctor check it out. He said, you got a broken sesamoid bone. So I say all that to say this. I wasn't playing, obviously, up to par. Our whole team was jacked up, but I was not playing like I did the first 2 years with the Eagles. Modrak comes to me and says, okay, we're going to cut you at the end of the year. You can retire. I decided to retire because, my plan was to play out my contract and then retire anyway. So long story short, we're in there doing the show and the callers are calling in. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the caller starts talking about Fryar. We're taking the call. He says, Fryar, you play well. I mean, not you play well, but you love what you're doing off the field, the things you do. You're a great man, da-da-da-da-da. But then he says, but you're playing on the field. You suck. He set me up and he said, listen to me. He said, you suck. You suck. You guys suck. And then you guys cut him off. Listen, you don't know what that did to me that night. Wow. That messed me up. I cared so much about what the fans thought because of, what was happening with the team. And I wasn't playing as well because, none of us were playing as well as we did the year before. But when he said that messed Howard, that messed me up. Absolutely messed me up. I should not have allowed it to matter that much to me, but it was like a knife being stuck in my soul. And I remember that to this day, how I felt then, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not playing well enough. It devastated me. It just devastated me.
They've told me I've sucked for, I've been on the air for so long.
I was stupid enough to really care about what people said.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, I know that now.
Yeah,
I know that now. I almost cussed. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's a podcast.
But look, I'm 62 years old. I could care less what anybody says. I got a devil and his demons after me trying to kill me. So I care less what people say against me.
And it is what it is. But just to let you know, I worked 5 games on the sidelines with a broken leg, but I didn't tell anybody because I wouldn't have been allowed to be down there. And that was the Eagles' first Super Bowl. So I'm glad that I didn't tell anybody. That's
why you're the king, man. You're a tough king.
It was painful, but it was the fibula, which is the non-weight bearing bone. So, Torrey Smith kicked me way out of bounds, not on purpose. He was tackled way out of bounds, but we won't get into all that. One of these days I'll play that video. I went down, man.
You went down? Oh, was it pretty or was it, did you fall pretty or did you fall ugly?
I felt pretty, but I blacked out for a split second.
Oh, really? Did you mess up your hair, man? Did your hair get messed up?
It was Christmas night. Oh, so I actually was wearing a beanie cap.
Okay.
Hey, Irving, this is great. We're going to have to do this again. I love it. And Maybe one of these days I'll have to come to one of your services if I'm allowed.
Why
At
would
your
you not be
church.
allowed? Everybody's welcome. Christ died for everybody. That means you
Okay.
too, Howard.
Okay. Well, one of these days I'm going to come to one of your services on Sunday morning,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to see the other Irving Fryar, Reverend Fryar,
Yes,
and
sir.
he's Dr. Fryar, and he's former football player. Hey, with all you've done, and your numbers are pretty good, I would think you should be in the Hall of Fame. But and that horse is already out of the
How
barn, I
how
guess.
how do we make that happen, Howard? How
Yeah,
do we make that happen?
I'll work on that. I'll work.
Can,
The wrong people are voting. That's the problem. The wrong
well,
people are voting.
well, I think I'm in the senior thing now. It's been
Oh, is
20,
that right? So you still have a chance.
it's
Okay, good.
25, what has it been 25 years? I've been on the ballot 4 times now.
Okay. Well,
I just don't make it past the
I'll try to
past the
talk. I'll
second
try to
round.
talk it up for you. Hey,
Yeah.
I have a great day.
Yes, sir.
Have a blessed day.
Thank Howard.
And I
Thank
know that always will be the case for you. And I really do appreciate you coming on the show, Irving. It's fun. It's always fun to kind of talk about things that we we think about, and we don't think about it all the time because you can't think about the past because then you won't be good enough going forward in the future.
Right.
But it's good to talk about it once in a while. And
Yeah.
thank you very much. I
You're
really
welcome,
appreciate
Howard. I'm going to invite you too. You'll be hearing from me to have you on the Fryer Place. That's where the conversations are fire. We do
I'm
a
in.
podcast on YouTube, and so I'm going to call you and listen. Anytime you need me, holla, brother. I got you.
Okay. I
Okay.
got you too.
All righty. Yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks,
Thank you.
doctor. All right. Irving Fryar. What a wonderful, pleasant, and fun guy. Hey, thanks again to Irving Fryar, but thanks also to my wonderful partners, sponsors. Obviously, Stillwell and Stillwell investments are important, but so are these guys. Stillwell is very important, and so are these guys. Cut the cord with Jason, Piazza Property Pros. Just had my landscaping done by them and did a sensational job. And Audi of Westchester, and just got a vehicle there as well. Thanks to those guys. You know, I also want to mention and just giving Irving Fryar another shout out. The Fryer Place is on YouTube. It's a podcast he does every Friday night at 7:00. So if you want to see Irving Fryar and join Irving Fryar, the Fryer Place on YouTube, 7:00, and that's on Friday night. A couple other things. Um, first of all, second of all, third of all, whatever. We always say first of all. It's like a figure of speech. There's other things I want to mention, and I saw some of the comments, and people talked about the greatest Eagles. Uh, the one thing I'm gonna show you a picture of Chuck Bednarik, and I remember Chuck very, very well. You see, when he holds up his hands, he had all his fingers disfigured. Back then, when he played, the doctors weren't as good as they are today. But I assume, never got it taken care of because he just wanted to play football. Every one of his fingers was in some way, shape, or form deformed because he got every one of them broken in different ways when he played. Chuck, and I don't know if that picture with Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor was taken at the championship game when they played the Packers in 1960, the 60 championship game when they won. But I'm sure they played the Packers at other times because they're one of the many teams. But I'm not sure if Chuck Bednarik is the best player all time by the Eagles. Now, a lot of people never got to see him. They could only read about him. I was lucky. I was young, but I remember Chuck Bednarik. Those kind of things, I was very young. Those kind of things stick in your mind. And Chuck Bednarik always stuck in my mind, and I did a radio show with him. I don't know how much we talked about it, but how many guys played 60 minutes? I think he played 58 minutes in that championship game when he played against the Green Bay Packers. I just guys don't do that anymore. They don't even play. They want to play more plays, but other than the quarterback, it plays every offensive play. You just don't play both sides of the football. He was a center. He was a linebacker. Second is Reggie White. But here I'm going to ask you. I am going to ask you. Who are the top 5 players? I know it's hard to get 5. By the way, thanks, Ted. Said it was a great interview. Thank you. King of Kings. I see Kevin Lynch out there. King of Kings. You know what? I'm just me. The last of the two-way players, Chuck Bednarik, he's the best. And I don't want to hear about all these other guys. Reggie White is close because he was the best defensive tackle in football ever. Because he played tackle and whatever. You moved him around. He was a wonderful guy, terrific guy. But I just think Chuck Bednarik's the best. So here I'm going to put out a link, and you should have it. You should have saved the link to join the show. And what I'm going to do is ask you if you want to. You can comment. I can see the comments, but click the link to join the show. And I know I'm going to debate it with you. The top 5 players, top 5 all time. And you're going to have guys on the edge of that top 5. I think some players are really, really, really good, but overrated as far as being in the top 5. All right. So we're going to do that. And again, I appreciate some of the comments. What was it like playing on the vet turf? Well, nobody liked it. It shortened, I'll tell you, the careers it had to shorten a little bit were baseball players because they played on it 80 some games a year. Football players only played on it, some of those games were 12, 14 games a season, some 16. But it was brutal for a lot of people. It was brutal for a lot of people. The other thing that I do want to mention, first of all, his son is such a jerk for ordering another Rolls Royce and having it painted in the Browns colors and having it delivered to training camp for the Browns. That's just obnoxious. But his father, how about this? I was told the other day, he has a home in Texas, which he built. He built a big 30,000 square foot home. And now the expenses are so much on the home, he put it up in bankruptcy sale. I said, how does Deion Sanders have a home in bankruptcy sale? And he said, because his lifestyle, he spends so much money. I guess he still does, even as a coach. And he's getting paid well as a coach. Guess he just doesn't want the expenses of the home anymore, and he can't sell it for what he wants to sell it for. So he put it up in a bankruptcy sale, whatever the case may be. And I saw one other question. The new Eagles offensive coordinator, what do I think of him? I think he's going to be terrific. Kevin Patullo is going to be terrific. Very, very sharp offensive mind. He was in all the meetings when they discussed offense and game plans. And he knows the team, knows the players, knows the quarterback. I think he's going to do a terrific job. So I now want to thank our sponsors, Jeff Stillwell of Stillwell Financial Advisors. You want to have somebody who knows what he's doing, handling your money? Jeff's the guy. I know Jeff's the guy. And you'll see, he's just like us. He's a regular guy. Give him a call. 732-343-0813, Stillwell Financial Advisors. And also, I want to talk about, now Jeff is the presenting sponsor of this fine program, the Howard Eskin Show, but our other sponsors in the show are very important as well. Audi of Westchester. You want a real fine, nice experience, a fun experience in purchasing an automobile. How about Audi Westchester? Audi Westchester, right now you get $7,000 off any in-stock Q8s, no tariffs. The tariff situation is ridiculous. It's just, the whole thing is, with what's going on in this country, is ridiculous. But you don't have to worry about tariffs at Audi of Westchester. Audi Westchester, fun experience, have the largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles because they're part of the mainline automotive group. So they have the largest selection of Audi's vehicles in the area. Stop by Audi Westchester, located 1421 Wilmington Pike, or AudiWestchester.com. That's AudiWestchester.com. Now, you want to save money on your cable. Now, who doesn't want to save money? And you can save lots of money by cutting the cord with Jason. He'll cut the cord. He offers an incredible service. It'll save you money. Now, I have people come up to me and says, I should check into that. Yes, you should check into it because you will save money. You'll get a less expensive internet service, streaming services that include all the local and national channels, all the local Philly pro games. You have a second home. That's part of the package. You can have 2 homes on one bill, same charge, and Jason will take care of it for you. Cut the cord with Jason, and you'll save a lot of money. Here's his number, 215-801-5858, 215-801-5858. And Piazza Property Pros. I've seen these people work firsthand because they just did landscaping over the last few days on my property. Cleanup. It looks great. Absolutely looks sensational. But that's not where you stop with Piazza Property Pros. You want a pool? Talk to them about a pool. You want renovation of your pool? Talk to them about that. You want other excavation, fencing, landscaping, pool maintenance? Talk to Piazza Property Pros with 25 years of experience. They don't subcontract. It's their people, which is really important. And they'll deliver exceptional results, and they'll do it within your budget. Here's the number, 610-566-2608, 610-566-2608, or for a free consultation, you can check it out, or visit piazzaoutdoor.com. You want to get your stuff done in the summer? This is the time, and you better call now because they get busy. They really do get busy. Make your property really enjoyable and having fun. I see it. Okay. I want to get to the line in a second. I see a comment by Pat O'Connor. I expect by the time his career is over, Jalen Carter will be one of the top 5 Eagles of all time. Too early to project that. Too early to project it. Way too early. All right, let's go to Chris has joined us on the line. Chris.
Hey.
What's happening, Chris?
Nothing much. Just a little work day Saturday here, and I was just listening. Saw you had Irving on, and once you offered to jump in, I thought I'd jump in.
Well, you're jumping in. You're in. You are in.
No sunglasses on today. No gimmick going. I'm
okay. You're just a regular guy today, right? Okay.
Yeah, just a regular guy. So
all right. So give me the top 5 Eagles of all time, in your opinion.
Well, Reggie White's up there.
Okay, I don't want to hear up there. I want to go 1 through 5. But Reggie White is no worse than number 2.
All right. Number 1, you were talking about Chuck Bednarik. Now, he was a special guy at that time, and I don't think anybody could play like that now.
Nobody plays 60 minutes.
Yeah, he played both ways. He was a beast. He was a monster. He took Frank Gifford out. That's a classic moment.
Yeah.
So
great
do I
picture
say
of him standing over him?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. So do I say he's number 1?
Okay. Who's number 2? Reggie.
Right,
Reggie's number 2.
Yeah, Reggie White.
Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so the Eagles' defense back in Buddy Ryan's time. I mean, you got Eric Allen. You had a lot of great players on that team.
Eric Allen's not in the top 5. I love him, but he's not in the top 5.
How about Brian Dawkins?
Everybody says Brian Dawkins, but I don't think he's 3.
You don't think he's 3?
No. Nope. I don't think he's 3. But I think he's obviously up there. People get carried away because of the Brian Dawkins love. And there's nothing wrong with the Brian Dawkins love. I mean, he did a great job. He had to play multiple positions because at the end of his career, his speed wasn't enough. Wasn't good enough to be a linebacker.
Right.
So played in the defensive back,
Reed.
defensive back. So he moved into the linebacker. But
Right.
so I guess Dawkins is in the top 5. So who else would you put in there?
Well, what about Jerome Brown? I mean, is he when
Yeah, he didn't play long enough, but Jerome
Right.
Brown, because unfortunately he got killed in that driving accident. What about Harold Carmichael?
Howard Coleman? Yeah, got to put him up there.
All right. So in the end, would you put, because I'll ask you this. I think Donovan McNabb is the best quarterback in Eagles history.
Well,
Yes or no?
Well, if you look at the numbers and the winning percentage, I mean, my God, they went to how many NFC Championship games? 4?
Like 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, people don't like to hear it, but numbers wise, he was a winner. Yeah. Did they win the big one? No. But there's other reasons why they didn't win the big one. But he was consistent. Oh, he played hurt. I was at that game against the Redskins when he broke his ankle.
Uh-huh.
And he kept on playing. And I believe they won that game, if I'm not mistaken. He threw a touchdown pass with a broken ankle.
Donovan McNabb. Yeah, they said he had he broke something. I guess it was his ankle back then.
Exactly. So I remember I was
got to be a small break to be able to play. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to play. So your top five. All right, let's go.
All right.
Chuck Bednarik.
Yeah.
Reggie White.
Reggie.
Would you put Brian Dawkins there or Jerome Brown there at 3?
B. Dawkins, Jerome Brown. Yeah, and then McNabb. Yeah, I'll put McNabb in there. I'll put him
above Carmichael.
That's
or above Jerome Brown.
I'll put him above Jerome Brown.
Okay.
Because Donovan played longer, and he was consistent.
Yep. All right. And then you're then you got your top 5. So you put Jerome Brown 5 and Carmichael's just outside the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. All right, Chris. All right, I appreciate you jumping in, brother.
No problem. Thanks for having me on again. And if I can just say one more thing, because I like to talk.
And I never knew that.
Yeah, right. I just want to say a shout out to my son. Graduated high school from Salesianum last night.
Congratulations.
And it was very inspiring and I'm very proud. It's a sacrifice to send your son to a school like that, and it's well worth it because.
Hey, listen, anything you do for your kids is, I mean, I put 5 kids through private school and college, so I understand.
Right.
All right.
I mean, it's a very proud moment.
Congratulations to you and your son. Your son's for doing it, and you for putting him there. Hey, Chris, have a great weekend.
All right, you too, Howard. You take it easy, kid.
All right, you too. I see Wingador, Bill Simmons, said McNabb is above Carmichael. Where is Wilbert Montgomery? You know what? I don't know if he had enough years, because I would say, as much as we love Wilbert Montgomery, and I really do think he's a terrific player and a terrific guy, I don't know that I wouldn't put Brian Westbrook. I would put Brian Westbrook above Wilbert Montgomery, because he did so many things. I see another comment here from Tony Woods, who was once a winner on this show. What's my take on Joel Embiid? Will he be traded? Who would take him? He's got 3 years left on a contract. Who's going to take him? He's always hurt. He's not going to ever play 50 games each season again. Ever. He's a me player, plays for himself. That's why the Sixers don't win, because they have him as a me player. He's just a me guy, and he's not a winner. That's why the teams you see in the playoffs now, Oklahoma City, team players, Indiana, team players. And hey, listen, I like the Knicks. I like Indiana. I like both those teams. I think Indiana wins game 6. They have to, because you don't want to go into a game 7. But I think Indiana.
I hit the wrong freaking button.
Indiana is a team. They are a team where the Sixers are not. So I go back to, who's going to take Joel Embiid? Nobody. All right. Yeah. I mean, Chris, I can't have you on twice. Come on, man. It's, you ought to appreciate. Um, uh, okay. Okay. I want to give you now the question to win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. It's something that Irving Fryar said, and I try not to make him too tough. Now, answer the question, submit it to my website, howardeskin.com, by midnight on this Tuesday, June 3rd. And I'll announce the winner on Wednesday when I do the show at 7:30. We're live on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. I can't get away from calling it Twitter. Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube, and you're always notified when the show comes up. Actually, when you get my notifications, you're probably notified on all the social media platforms. But here's the question. In his career, and Irving Fryar played 17 years. Think about that. A wide receiver played 17 years. Came to the Eagles when he was 34. First 2 seasons, he had over 80 catches. A.J. Brown surpassed his Eagles record. And this is an easy question. Actually, it was between one of two things. He actually did not play wide receiver at Nebraska and taken number 1 overall in the NFL draft. He didn't even play wide. He played wing back. He caught the ball, but he didn't catch it. They didn't throw that many passes at Nebraska. So the question is, in his 17 years as a football player, who was the best offensive coordinator, in his opinion, he ever had? Who was the best offensive coordinator? That is the question. Submit your answer to my website. The contact page will come up, and there'll be multiple correct answers. We'll pick a winner at random to win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. Well, there's a lot of places. 17 years. Who was the best OC in Irving Fryar's opinion in his career that he played for? So, and I thank you. I thank Irving Fryar. Fun conversation. He does a lot of things. I am going to do 2 things that Fryar asked me. Well, I mentioned it to him. I'm going to come to one of his services where he's a pastor of his church, Reverend Fryar. I will come to one of his services. I will do it on a Sunday morning. And I will also come on his podcast, The Fryar Place, which you can see on YouTube. And I thank you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I thank all of you for being part of this wonderful program. Thanks for your comments. And again, any week that you want to join, you can keep the link. We'll keep it the same each week, and you can join the program. And thanks to, obviously, our presenting sponsor, Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell is the man. There's the number, 732-343-0813. And our other sponsors as well. The presenting sponsor is special, but these guys are special too. Cut the Cord with Jason, Piazza Property Pros, and Audi Westchester. And thank you again for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed. And if you missed any of the Irving Fryar conversation, remember, it's up there all the time. It never goes away. And you can always check. And I see people checking previous podcasts, but subscribe to YouTube and it'll be easy for you and notify you when the show comes up. Thanks. As it is right now, it's Saturday. Have a great weekend. But whenever you watch this, have a great day. Thanks again for joining us on the Howard Eskin Show.